Hello everyone, I Nirmala Rawat welcome you to my YouTube channel. Chapter 7, Part 2. I stared at Soma in confusion, dumbstruck by the implication of her words. Never mind, said Soma. Let us enjoy what time we have. What do you know, Soma? And who has told you? My voice was incredulous, but also harsh. Mata had warned us not to get involved with the gossip of the household servants, and Soma, of all people, was very attentive to these instructions. She hardly mingled. It could not be that she was susceptible to malicious talk. She looked away. For the first time ever, I saw tears gather in her eyes. Nothing could calm my thoughts that day. It was not until the evening when Soma and I went to put away Mata's ornaments and clothing. My mind was calmed by the joy that flowed from Mata. Even Soma seemed back to her normal self. That night, in my small room, I reasoned that although Soma had special insight into Mata, had an inner connection to her that none of us could match or even understand, this time she was wrong. She was imagining something that didn't exist. I put it out of my mind. It was only a few days later that we learned the kingdom of Ayodhya was about to be turned upside down, not from an external foe, but an internal one. Those few days were tumultuous. The Maharaja had taken ill. It was his heart, they said. As much as Mata tried to help him with medicinal plants, his strength did not return. Then there was talk of his decision to coronate Sri Ram right away. The auspicious day and hour were approaching when suddenly everything turned. Maharani Kaikai's mind had been twisted by her servant, a bitter and manipulative woman, and a long dormant jealousy and anger emerged in the queen. Years earlier, Maharani Kakai had saved the Maharaja's life in battle, and he had promised to fulfill two wishes whenever she requested. Now she asked him to honor that commitment made long ago. When he asked what the two wishes were, thinking them to be desires he could easily fulfill, she requested that he coronate her son, Bharat, instead of Ram. Although Ram was the eldest and Ram was to be exiled for 14 years. We servants heard rumblings of this turn of events, but it was not until Mata called us to her that we understood what was in store. She was departing with him. She stood before us and said, Ram has agreed to go into exile, and since there is no possibility of a separation, I will go as well. Then she added in a most gentle way, where Ram is, there is Sita, and where Sita is, there is Ram. She waited for this news to sink in. We were speechless. I'm not sure if we displayed any emotion, as we could not quite fathom the meaning of what she was saying. She looked at us intently and continued, I am afraid great sorrow will come upon this kingdom, and it will be vulnerable to outside threats. There will be those who will seek to take advantage of Ram's absence. I have no doubt that from wherever we are, he will protect the kingdom. But I must also do my part. I will depend greatly on the four of you to help me fulfill my responsibilities here. She fell quiet. Then we are to stay here, Mata, without you? I asked questioningly. I had assumed that we would return to Mithila. She nodded. Urmila will be here. You must help care for her, and you must maintain my presence here the best you can. How long will you be away, Mata? Usha ventured to ask in a shaky voice. Mata didn't answer right away, but then replied in a quiet voice, looking away from us. 14 years. 14 years, Mata? I exclaimed in dismay. How will we possibly survive that long without you? You won't be without me, Meenakshi. You will have to learn to see beyond my physical presence. It is easy to serve me when I am here with you, but now you must learn to serve when my physical presence is no longer here. I don't understand, I said in a trembling voice. A faint smile crossed her lips as she replied, You will, one day. When do you leave, Mata? Soma asked in a steady tone. Tomorrow morning. Then I must go, get ready. She made a motion to leave, but Mata put her hand on her arm and shook her head. Soma, this time you cannot accompany me. I need you here more than I will need you in the forest. You must help maintain my presence in this household. I need all of you here. You can serve much better by maintaining my presence and trying to uplift the spirit among all the people here, who will soon be thrown into a state of disarray. Must it be so soon, Mata? I asked in consternation. There is no time for us to prepare. There is nothing to prepare, Meenakshi. Now I will share with you what must be done. What must be done? Come with me. She led us to an open hallway outside of her room where she had constructed a small shrine. A large bowl was placed beside the shrine. Closing her eyes and uttering some words, Mata placed her hand over the bowl. It seemed that flames shot out of her open palm and into the bowl. She spoke in a very serious and steady voice. I have put my energy into this flame. Watch over it. Don't let it diminish while I am gone. Your prayers and care for it will ensure that it does not go out. This flame will form a protective shield for the palace. But you must care for it and guard it as you would care for me. No ghee is needed, only mantras day and night. She recited the mantras she wanted us to chant. I will be in this fire, and when the time is right, I will draw it back into my being, and it will self-extinguish. Then you will know the work that Sri Ram and I are setting out to accomplish is complete, and our return will be imminent. Through this flame, I will be able to spread my love through this kingdom, and you will be able to send your love and prayers to me, for it is this love that will protect us all. None of us spoke. By now, it had sunk in that Mata was leaving us. I don't think any of us, except perhaps Soma, understood what she was saying. But we did understand that she was giving us certain instructions that we must follow. Usha, she continued, care well for Sister Urmila. She will go into deep meditation to help Lakshman with the tasks he will have. Stay by her side at all times. Soma, you must be a vehicle for my love to sustain Kausalyama, Ram's mother, who will undergo great suffering in his absence. Serve her as you would serve me. Soma nodded. Rohana, bring my love and peace of mind to Sumitrama, Lakshman's mother. She is spiritually advanced and will rely much on Mahadev. Assist her with her pujas. Then Mata turned to me. As she looked at me thoughtfully, I asked, Mata, how can I serve you while you are gone? My voice was cracking. She replied slowly, Meenakshi, I will need you to look after Kaikaima. A look of horror crossed my face, but I didn't utter a word. She will need the most care, for she will be disdained and abandoned by all. When she returns to her senses, she will be unforgiving of herself. Ram loves her a great deal and will want to help restore her sense of dignity and self-worth. Mata, after what she had done, she is the cause of all this sorrow. Mata shook her head. It only appears that way. She is but a vehicle for our departure, and yes, her mental weakness allowed her to be used in this way, which is why we must not abandon her. She looked from one of us to another. There is a greater plan that we are fulfilling. Behind every misfortune is a hidden blessing. This journey through the jungles is necessary. Hermitages are being attacked and destroyed. Without these centers of learning, the sacred Vedas will not be preserved for the coming ages. A new civilization is yearning to be born. We must all do our part in helping with that birth. She told us we must all get rest as the day of departure was but a few hours away. I could not sleep at all that night. I lay in bed, hearing again and again the words Mata had spoken to me. Behind every misfortune is a hidden blessing. She has told me this earlier in Mithila, adding that one only needs to search for it. It is the attitude, Meenakshi, with which one encounters life that determines whether one can turn a misfortune into a blessing. But I could not find any hidden blessing in what was about to befall us. Later, I heard that the Maharaja had been up all night pleading with Sri Ram not to leave. When Sri Ram explained again and again that he had no choice but to fulfill his dharma, the Maharaja then pleaded with Rajkumari Sita not to leave with him. Maharani Kausalya asked what they would say to Janak Baba when he learned that his daughter had gone into exile. Mata responded calmly that she had already asked for and received his blessing. He has come? Asked Maharani Kausalya in disbelief. Sita had shaken her head and replied, his physical presence is not required for me to communicate with him. I would never take such a step without his blessing. There was nothing we servants from Mithila could say if Janak Baba had given his blessing. We had to assume it was for the greater good. Dawn came too quickly. Everyone gathered in the courtyard to see them off. Sri Ram, his brother Lakshman, and Mata Sita were all dressed in ascetic clothing. Instead of rain, sorrow drenched the ground and the earth seemed to cry out. We were all heavy with pain. But Mata looked calm and radiant, as did Sri Ram. The four of her servants stood off to the side as the three ascetics said their goodbyes to the family. I didn't think we would have a chance to speak with Mata, but she stepped aside and came to us, taking our hands one by one. You have all served me well, she said quietly, and I know you will continue to do so. My love will always be with you. The thought came into my mind that I would not see her again, as I was aging and not in the best of health. 14 years seemed an eternity to me. Mata looked at me, and I heard her voice inside say, I will see you again, Meenakshi. I promise you that. Then with a parting glance, she turned and walked away. Many of the people began to follow them. Usha and I started to go as well. But Soma placed her hand on our shoulders and held us back, shaking her head. Mata would not want this, she said. We must get back to our duties and continue as before. Without Mata? I said mournfully. No, with Mata, she replied firmly. Let us not forget her words to us. We must maintain her presence, which means we must care for her room, her clothing, her jewels, everything, especially the fire. Let us go now to recite the mantra she taught us. We must believe she is still here. Thank you. This is the end of the chapter. See you day after tomorrow for new chapter, Death in Ayodhya. Ram Ram. Have a good day. Looking forward to see you again. I would love to see your comments in the comment box section. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. Do share my videos if you like them. Please subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Thank you.